So we're going to be talking about RADfest. It's a super longevity festival. I just found out yesterday that Ray Kurzweil will be speaking. That's very exciting for us. He always does an incredible speech. He's really an incredible person when you meet him. So it's exciting that he just was added to the speakers panel. There's my co-host. We're kind of like having a reunion. Hey, Brian. So, Brian, I gave you the co-hosting microphone space. Oh, there you are. How are you?
Hi, Tanya. Good afternoon. How have you been?
I've been doing great. Like, I miss
Yeah.
you. And I was like thinking, my God, there's so many conferences and people that we need to interview and talk
I
to.
know. It's heating up, the conference time. And now that we've gotten things behind us, I think people are willing to travel and go to conferences and engage. So that's nice. So how's everybody today?
I'm doing great. Like I said, it's gosh, has it been almost a year?
I mean, RADfest for sure. I think we did.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two after RADfest. But yeah, I mean, look how fast the year's gone by. It's crazy,
I know,
scary,
and
honestly.
yeah, it's because RadFest was online last year, so I mean I like the online was kind of cool because you can go back and watch it again, but the in person is where the energy comes alive. I feel.
Yeah, and I think Twitter Spaces is growing. You see more people utilizing Twitter Spaces, more groups, more well-known groups. If it's a newspaper or some type of media outlet. So they're getting the word out.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of platforms are adapting social audio. I downloaded Spotify since I'm always on Spotify listening, and Spotify Live is like I don't know, maybe I haven't finished my profile, but it was crickets. Or maybe I'm spoiled by Twitter Spaces.
Oh, really? It was crickets over there? Well, how new is it?
It's been around. It's been around because I only logged in because I'm paying for this analytics stuff, and I couldn't understand much about it, so I wanted to go ahead and check them out. I'm talking about like 10 spaces that I could see, or I can be spoiled. I could be spoiled, but I only saw 10 spaces, so.
Well, about maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago, I was in Madonna's space. She was doing an NFT space. Did you hear about that? She had over 10,000 people in there.
No, tell me about that. While we're waiting for them,
Well,
they're
she was actually a co-host. There was another sponsor that was presenting an NFT that she was launching, and I think she maybe launched it through TikTok, and she was giving some promotion through Twitter Spaces. But yeah, she was co-host, and yeah, word got around quick that Madonna was in Twitter Spaces. So yeah, quite a crowd.
Oh, Madonna popped
Well,
in.
Madonna was co-host.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty wild. I've seen Jay-Z do a couple spaces. I'm trying to think who else. There's some other big names. Jay-Z and Madonna both stand out. Oh, uh, I'm drawing a blank. Rapper also did a space.
Oh, you mean Snoop
Yeah, Snoop
Dogg?
Dogg. Yeah.
I love that man.
He's doing.
I freaking love him because he's so freaking funny. But the fact he's always like that, and he has incredible concerts. It's like I usually don't go to concerts, especially being outside. But he has one in West Palm. It was incredible. So I sit in on his space whenever he's around.
Yeah, he was doing an NFT space as well. So I guess he's in the NFT space now.
Now he's big into the NFT space. I mean, oh, did you ever get into your NFT at all? I mean, you of all people who have the best pictures in the whole wide world.
I really want.
If you
I
guys,
really want to. It seems there's not enough time in the day. I mean, with I really want to kind of launch this wellness coaching business that I'm in. It's also involved, um, TRT for men, but I have, my commercial real estate that I have to do daily, and then your hobbies. Where's the, it's not enough time in the day. But I would love to get into NFTs. Really would.
yeah, I was, maybe we should talk about that because, like, I always think about, because I work with so many age management doctors, which cover all that, and so, oh, this James, oh Jim, I come Jim. Hey Jim, I'm gonna give you the microphone. Jim, if you bottom left hand corner, you see a microphone icon. If you can click that, and it should either get a request or bring you right up. It's the bottom left hand side corner. So yeah, Brian, we should talk about that
We
actually.
definitely should.
I mean, like between our space host, and all our different spaces that we're part of, and NFT. I've been sitting in NFT for a while, and actually, Jim's organization, they accept donation through the Giving Block,
Oh,
actually.
is that
So,
right?
and I had them on the show with Carlos, who is my co-host for NFTs for a Cause. So, we're going on our. I lost count. We have a blog, we have a website, and everything. Hey, how are you? Uh, there we go. I see your microphone.
Wow, I've been okay. Now you hearing me?
I can hear
There we
you.
go.
Hello,
Okay.
hello, James. This is Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Yeah, good to hear you. I got Joe Bardin and Bernadeane here, both. Say
Hi, this is Bernie.
Hi, Bernie. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah, really good.
And is Joe there with you too?
Yes, he is.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, we're excited. Brian and I were just talking. It was like this time last year we had you on. We did a space with you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, we're working hard putting RADfest together. It's coming together really nicely, so we're looking forward to it.
Can you guys start off telling some of our new listeners what RADfest is and give a little bit of its history?
yeah, for sure. So
You know what? Before we start, can I read your bios?
yes, go ahead.
I did a whole thing on your bios. I just
Oh,
Oh,
wanted to
thank
great,
you,
get a
great,
thank
chance to
great.
read that.
thank you, Tanya.
I was like, hold on, let me read your bio.
There you
I
go.
made a
There you
whole
go.
thread and everything.
There you go.
So, and the funny thing was, I was like doing the thread and reading your bios, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. It was just so I felt like, oh my goodness, I can't wait. So,
Oh,
um, meet James Strole. He is the executive director of the Coalition for Radical Life Extension. James Strole is the executive director of Coalition for Radical Life Extension, which is the producer of RADfest, the largest global event of its kind. James is also the co-founder and co-director of People Unlimited, an organization that supports people's interest in unlimited lifespans. Co-author of the book Just Getting Started, 50 Years of Living Forever. James is a visionary anti-death activist and a community builder who has spoken and written on radical life extension and physical immortality for over 4 decades. He has dedicated his life to challenging death-oriented beliefs and practices and has coached thousands of people in living an ageless lifestyle to achieve a healthier, fuller, more vibrant lives. He has appeared on numerous TV shows, both domestically and abroad, and has spoken to audiences on 4 continents. I'm so happy you're here. I call him Jim, by the way. Jim.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, call me Jim. Hey, thank you. It sounds like you wrote that yourself, Tanya.
Well, we've known each other for so long. I just I never got a chance to really read out loud and also be able to write out your bio. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just really impressed by that.
yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I remember us meeting in at the Perpetual Life Church, is where we first met.
I have a collection of pictures of us over the years, which I'm
Oh,
planning to share before RADfest. I'm
oh,
just
great,
letting you know. This is
great.
there was the whole idea behind this. Is I wanted to kind of show the timeline how much younger you got.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's the best compliment you can pay us, probably.
No, but I'm serious. It's I'm wow, how are the differences? So I wanted to now go ahead and read Bernadine's bio.
Okay.
Bernadine Bernadeane is the co-founder and co-director of People's Unlimited. Bernadeane has spoken and written on radical life extension and physical immortality for over 4 decades. Her speaking style is fiery and focused, challenging conventional limited thinking with visionary insight and common sense honesty. Bernadeane is an expert in habits and mindset of people and ageless lifestyle and draws on her own experience to motivate and enlighten others to break out the box of ageism. A leading advocate for women and immortality, she has inspired thousands of women to take on greater authority and accountability in their lives and to look beyond the limitation of traditional roles in death-oriented society in order to redefine themselves for an unlimited future. She's the co-author of Just Getting Started, 50 Years of Living Forever, appearing on numerous TV shows, both domestically and abroad, and has touched audiences in dozens of countries. Welcome, Bernie. How are you?
Oh, I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for reading. I haven't heard that about myself for quite a while. So,
Well, I want to also, I'm gonna shoot you an email, but as the president of Women in Communication, the South Florida chapter, we do an Empower Yourself Monday, and you're one of the women that I said I would like for us to honor you and have you tell us some of your empowerment stories because I know you have a lot to share. And for as the president of Women Communication at the South Florida chapter, we tell our members always empower yourself. Listen to other people's empowerment because that's where you empower yourself. And we have men members too. But as always, I tell people the best way to learn something is learn from others. So you're you are the one of the women that when I'm reading this about you, I have goosebumps because we've known each other.
yeah. Yeah. I remember our meeting and it was really special time. Yeah, for sure.
And then also, last but not least, last year we had the pleasure of having Joe on our space, and we live streamed it. It was exciting. It was kind of because we weren't allowed. None of us were traveling or anything, and we all did. We talked, and so Joe is the communication director, and so I'm gonna go ahead and read his bio. But Joe's awesome, and I think he's also the host of RADfest because he does an incredible job um, emceeing, as I call it, the whole event. So let me go ahead and make sure. And the space is so this is perfect. So Joe Bardin is the director of communications for People's Unlimited and for the Coalition for Radical Life Extension. He is the author of the essay collection Outlier Heart, IFER's Press. His nonfiction has appeared in numerous literacy journals, including Louisville Review, Volume 1, Brooklyn, Superstition Review, Electrica, and Image Journal, Good Letters, and been anthologized in the Transhumanism Handbook. His plays have been performed both domestically and abroad. Meet Joe Bardin, everybody. And Joe, when we met, I didn't even realize when we talked on the phone. So I didn't realize what you're so big into the arts.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I do. I'm a playwright. I just had play of mine, which is really about themes about age reversal. It's actually age reversal at the center of the play. It's called Exodus, was just performed here in Phoenix. And I actually just got news today that it's going to be optioned to be made into a movie. So I'm really excited about it.
I'll give you an applause right there.
That's great.
I've been practicing. Yeah. There's a new Brian. Did you hear? Did you see that the new
soundboard?
Yeah, the soundboard. It's so exciting, right? We've come so long. So Brian and I are both early adopters to Twitter Spaces. So so I want everybody to know in this space where we appreciate everyone for being here. But the most important thing is I appreciate Brian, because like we met randomly and turns out we're like into everything the same. Like he knew my good friend Dr. John Chrysler. He knew everything I talked about. So I always feel like when I have a space, when I talk about life extension, longevity, research, age reversal, I always think of Brian. And then I was like, Brian, let's start contacting people and find out what they're doing, and let's have some spaces and discover new technology, new clinical study, and what's the data about. So Brian's like my perfect co-host.
Yeah, we're definitely Twitter soulmates.
You're so host.
Yeah,
right?
so host. That's right. That's right, James.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, I like the work you do, and it's always great to find people you can really have a flow with.
So why don't you tell our listeners, before we start, I want to go through the space and say hi to everybody, because I feel like, so I have Bryce in the space. Hi, Bryce. Bryce is very into super longevity. Hi, Michael. So is Michael. We always talk about health. And Mago's in the space. My girl, Kara, we do a Beauty Spaces bar together. Kay is here. Legion is here. And Louis, who is getting ready to launch his first music NFT. And also Armor of Glory, thank you for being here. And Daniela, thank you for being here. So everybody, I appreciate you for being here. So we're going to go ahead and start. It is now 3:15. We're planning to stay till 4, but I say that we should stay till 4:30 because then we might have some questions. So save all your questions. We're going to be giving out the mic between 4 o'clock, 4:10, and then this way it gives you the opportunity. So Jim, tell us a little bit about RADfest and like what made you guys decide to do RADfest, and about your nonprofit also.
Okay, let me first say, well, greetings to everybody, and thank you for being on. And I first want to comment about this possible movie that Joe's got an option on. It might be the first, well, it will be the first actual authentic movie on immortality. And I'm excited about it because we really need that, right? So I just want to say big kudos to Joe, because I think this is going to happen. And of course, I've talked to so many people. I mean, Belle Floon was mentioning me the other day. Why isn't there a good movie, for around immortality? They all end up with some sad note, unfortunately, that even touch on immortality or extended lifespans. But so anyway, I want to say that. But yeah, thank you for that question, because Bernie and I, when we founded People Unlimited in 1995, we created a really, really good community of people internationally. Our headquarters is here in Scottsdale, Arizona. So we meet here. We have a
Did we lose him?
Yeah. James, are you with us?
I was getting excited there. Okay, I want to talk about
experience.
Movie. There we go. We totally lost you. So, can you repeat what you said?
Okay, what's
worries.
the last thing you heard?
About you're from Arizona.
Okay. Okay, so we're here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we have a community here called People Unlimited. We meet twice a week, and these are people that are really dedicated to super longevity, immortality, and we're one of the largest communities in the world dedicated to super longevity. But we were, having been having since 1995 really great expansion and communication between each other. But in 2014, we began to get the inspiration, and Joe was a big part of that with me. I have to say that he said, Jim, you like to talk to people. You're out in the community talking to people a lot, mainly just people you run into. He says, why don't you start reaching out to the super longevity community, scientists and so forth, and start to put something together with them. So the short story is that we came up with the idea of creating a coalition for radical life extension. And I started reaching out to some of the top scientists and doctors and of course, Bill Falloon. And they all loved the idea and really jumped on board and wanted me to direct it. And then we came up with the idea, the coalition together, of having an event, and not just any kind of event. From the feedback from so many of the doctors and scientists we talked to in particular, they wanted something. They said specifically, don't just create another boring science event. Please. Sometimes we walk out of our own events. So I thought that was kind of interesting and funny. But so we went to the drawing board and we said, hey, let's have something like a a Woodstock for radical life extension, something that was festive and fun and yet brought the best of science and also could draw on the public, because that's what was missing, the support of the public. And as you know, we all need that. We need people being educated on this subject. We need people knowing about this, not only for their benefit, but for the benefit of all the great technology being created that we can more easily get it funded. So that was the idea. And so we came up with the name RADfest, which means RAD is Revolution Against Aging and Death. And we wanted something, that would stick with people, and it did. Most people love that name. It's striking. And so in 2016, and you guys, either one of you guys, by the way, can jump in anything I'm missing along the way you want to plug in on. But in 2016, we established the first RADfest event, and that was in San Diego. And we didn't know how many people were actually going to turn up. We had some great responses from people. We started selling registrations. It wasn't even up until the last couple of months that people began to really respond. But it turned out to be a huge success of over 1,000 people at that first event in San Diego. And of course, everybody was thrilled. And because up until that time, we were only getting about, at any given event, was maybe 250 or 300 people. And of course, most organizations were losing money on that event. SINS told me that, Aubrey de Grey, Bill Falloon said that, same thing. They tried to do these events and they weren't working. But I think the key is to engage the public too, and design something that the public could be drawn to. And that's what happened. And so since then, it has just grown in popularity and grown in volume. This year, of course, we had to go 2 years, as you know, virtual because of the pandemic. And we're really excited about being back live. And so many people are biting the bit to be together. There's still people that are a little bit nervous about the pandemic, about the virus. And, of course, we're going to take all the precautions there. We feel we can really do this safely and have been doing these events safely here in Scottsdale. We've been doing our events with People Unlimited now for about 4 or 5 months, very successfully. No one's got infected in the room because we take the precautions. But we're very excited to come back together live. But we created RADfest for the very purpose of galvanizing the radical life extension community and inspiring people and educating them to really know and experience the power of what super longevity means, and to educate them on it and to help get support also for our top doctors and scientists who are doing this great work. So I'll let Joe wants to add something here to that.
Yeah, another important point about RADfest is it's cutting edge science, but it's presented for a general audience. So most of the longevity events are for experts. Now we have a ton of experts that are both on the stage and in the audience, but you don't have to be an expert to really understand what is available for you right now to take charge of your longevity. So I think that's one of the greatest features of RADfest, is that it's for the general public.
Yeah, and as Bernie and I were talking, our purpose fundamentally with Bernie and I is to inspire people to uh, to get not only inspire them to get more educated, but to inspire them to not buy into ageism, not buy into just the program of aging. And so we wanted a bigger platform to even do that. And this is part of this was Bernie's inspiration, even to have an environment that would expand more globally. And she, as you know, Tanya, she's really into inspiring people, and maybe she want to say something about that.
Well, yeah, I think it takes being inspired. Otherwise, I mean, we can. Jim's moving this
Yeah, I'm
phone,
just
so
getting
I
the
don't
mic
know
to
what's
her.
going.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Don't touch the top though.
Okay. Anyway, I have this inspiration that comes out of me because I love to be alive, and I like for people to have the opportunity to get in touch with that they are in charge of their physicality, and it takes so putting ourselves with other people who are so in the know about things that we as individuals may not be. And since RADfest has been happening, I have gotten in touch with so much more uh, of what I can do to live healthier, uh, better, stronger, be more involved with more people who are also interested in staying alive when we just don't want to die. And so I'm really inspired in this. I feel like there doesn't have to be an end like we've always felt. I think we're born to live and not born to die. So this is where I come from a great deal. And of course, I have a lot to say to women because I feel like women really have an emotion about them and feelings that is easy for them to express more perhaps than for men often. But um, we haven't, though we've still been, females have still been in the background a great deal, but that's changing, and I'm so grateful for that, that there is a change going on, that females who are highly educated and really are interested in being progressive are having an opportunity today to manifest themselves and speak forth. And really, it's for me, it's a fabulous time, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to RADfest. I don't know uh, just how many will show up because of the pandemic that we experienced, but it's a start of a new day, and so I feel like there'll be maybe more people attend than what we thought because some were afraid. But we're moving to take the fear away because honestly, as long as we're really doing all the right kinds of things, we've been all around. We've been out. We don't shut ourselves inside. It's like we're ready to face whatever we have to face, and we're doing everything that we know is really important for our health and for our life. So, yeah. Well, I'll give this back to Jim.
Yeah.
That's
Well
great.
said.
Um, so Jim,
Yeah.
th- this is so exciting. I'm excited for you
Thank you.
guys, and I'm excited for I think the whole community, the longevity community, the life because I'm a life extensionist. I put biohacker down, but I always like Radfest is the time of year when you discover new things, exciting things, and now here you're coming back in person. What are you expecting this year? What's new this year at Radfest?
Wow, we got a lot of new presentations and innovations, both on the main stage of RADfest, and then also in RAD City. A lot of new innovations that are coming to RAD City at the exhibit hall, like Brain Tap. We got a whole new array of. In fact, I don't know. I think you're familiar with Dr. Joe Cleaver. He's coming in, and he's been doing some really in-depth, fantastic research on COVID long haul and other, and consequently from him treating COVID and long hauler individuals that have long haul, he's been able to find ways to build what he calls a super immune system. And so he's going to be presenting that. And we're very, very excited about that. Also, we're having some new advanced information on plasma exchange from Dr. Kipoff and Dr. Martinez. And we're also having Dr. Hebert talk about it's, well, what are they calling it now, Joe?
Tissue replacement, isn't it? Yeah, we've got a long list. I mean, we Dr. Robert Lufkin, who's from, I believe it's USC. He has some first ever large sample size data of rapamycin and humans. So we're really excited about that. By the way, Ray Kurzweil is joining us again this year. We just found out. So we have a panel.
I have to do that.
Hey, applause. It's either applause or like a waterfall. We have a stem cell panel that we're excited about because we're going to be looking at all the different approaches to stem cells all in one panel. So I think that's going to help people get clear on that. Latest on gene therapy, which we always need to keep up with. Latest on human trials in longevity. I'm just rattling here because there's so much. Dr. Sandra Kaufman has a new book, and she's going to be, she's always full of just stuff, just when you think you know everything about longevity, Dr. Kaufman, she always comes out with new ways to build your longevity, and usually they're really affordable and simple stuff too.
Yeah, right. That's the great thing about it. They're simple, and I know Dr. Bill Andrews has mentioned to me the other day that he follows her protocols and has really advanced his own personal health and strength. So that Dr. Bill Andrews has just turned 70, and he's still running ultra marathons, 50 to 100-mile ultra marathons. So big kudos to him.
Now he used to run down all the way from, I guess, up here to Key West.
Yeah.
Like, I met him years ago, and he was telling us all this. I was like, "What? You run? You don't drive from here to Key West? Do you know how far that is?" He goes, "Yeah."
Yeah. That's what he does. So it's amazing, and so he's quite an amazing guy. Much less the science he's bringing out. Now he'll be sharing, by the way, some new information on telomere lengthening that he's got, and hopefully he'll be able to get his funding soon. He's got some good prospects, so we'll see how that turns out next few months. I hope he had a way to be able to announce at RADfest that he gets his funding, but I don't know if it's going to turn out that fast. But because if that happens, he'll be able to produce a age reversal protocol, gene therapy, and have it available in a pill form within about 1 to 3 years.
Wow.
That deserves a clap. We'll all really cheer. Yeah.
We also have Naveen Jain, who's the author of Moonshots, Creating a World of Abundance. And he's a visionary entrepreneur. He's actually going to be on the Visionaries panel with Jim at RADfest. So, really, it's really the program this year is really rich, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I'd like to ask one of the panel members, how is AI figuring into this? I know there's a lot of research in AI into longevity. Will you have any speakers that are coming up with new dynamics in the field of AI in the field of longevity?
Yeah, Ben Goertzel is going to be presenting, and he's a leading thinker on AI, and I'm pretty sure he's. So I'm just looking up his bio right here to tell you what Ben is. Singularity Net, CEO of Singularity Net, and I'm pretty sure he's going to bring one of his robots too.
Yeah, he definitely. Well, he said
You're gonna bring Sophia? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
he's bringing a new version. He says she's much more beautiful.
So for
Do you know
some
how
reason,
long I've known him? I've known him since 2000. I say 2007. We were MySpace friends, my first social network before I joined Facebook.
yeah, and
And in his early days when he was working on Sophia, it was crazy.
yeah, so he's going to be speaking. He's the chief scientist of the the AI firm Singularity Studio, um, and yeah, actually, super longevity is a brilliant application of AI because the complexity of cellular pathways is it's so high. The complexity is so high that we really need AI to map all those.
Absolutely. That's where AI really comes in handy. So to give an example to our audience that doesn't know what I'm talking about, so say you're 25 and you data sample all your blood work, your microbiome diversity, your genome data, which is now available. So AI would be able to track that. So as you get older, AI will be able to formulate things that you can add to your diet or your regimen or supplements to keep on track with your upkeep of your body as well as your mind. It's fascinating. It's almost like sci-fi, but within our reach.
It
Uh,
is. It is. And so AI will be tracking those genomics and those proteomics and all the omics, and it's part of what we're looking forward to a level of personalization in treatment that is totally different.
Absolutely. Uh, let's talk about the mind side of it because a lot of longevity is also the within the spirit and your thinking. I think one of the best ways to enhance your life is to remove at some point of your life the fear of death. when you
Oh,
get when you get that out of the way, it's half the battle, right? So
exactly.
what if you have any speakers this year that are more into maybe the mind aspect of longevity? If it's meditation or if it's hypnosis or uh, any of those kind of protocols.
Yeah, Dr. Stevens Sidoroff. He's going to be talking about the resilience to slow the aging process and the whole mindset around that. He's actually a very renowned psychologist in this field. Also, Naveen Jain. He loves to talk about that because he was just telling me the other day when we had the conversation about RADfest that he actually how important, because he's doing the work with Biome and a lot of other avenues of longevity that he's working in. But he said, wow, the power of the mind is so important in our attitude and where we set ourselves that way. Also, Dr. Michael Rose, he talks about the wall of death. He said, and he's going to give a presentation. I think that is really profound. I've heard a little bit of it the other day, a little sample of it. Very profound about how to get to the place where you're not just living in some type of fantasy about living forever because you don't really believe it. And this is the key for a lot of people. They more like have a wish in it. And he wants people. He's going to show the science that actually can solidify a real, I'll say, belief that immortality, super longevity is really real and it's possible. And he wants to help defer from that presentation, people's fears and anxieties. And he calls it, like I said, the wall of death. We have to get the fear, the wall of death. I think that's the way he put it, to get past that wall of death and get all the fear out of us that we can't really. He said more people experience a fear of really living forever than they do of death itself. Because it's such an unknown thing, and that's part of the anxiety that people experience the unknown.
Yeah, that's right, James. And what I see is breakthroughs in the field of immune disorders or cancers. I'm working with a lot of peptide scientists that
Great.
are, have a combination of peptides that people don't know what peptides are. They're just a sequence of amino acids. Peptides like thiamalphasin 1 to boost your immune system. There's breaking peptides out there that are basically blowing up cancer.
Yeah.
These are the things that people are looking to because they've seen a parent or a sibling pass away of autoimmune disease or cancer. So we just have to get the awareness out there, promote these scientists, get them help. That's what I'm kind of doing on the side is helping them fund research through raising money through my investment banking contacts, so they can focus on these things that are available in nature to help us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Brian. That's great.
Yeah, actually, there's a kind of an interesting investor dynamic that happens at RADfest. It's not an event for investors. It's an event for the general public, but investors come because it gives them a really good sense of the landscape of longevity. And it can be confusing to know like what's happening and what isn't, and what's real and what isn't. And so you mentioned investors. That's kind of a feature of RADfest too, even though we don't target investors per se. I think in a way they like that because they can just come in and see what's going on without being pitched.
And we draw a lot of press, which is good because it gets the word out more. In fact, we got a lot of press coming in this year, documentary organizations. In fact, Joe just got a call today from a German documentary group that's going to come.
There's a group coming from Germany. We have media coming from India this year. That's exciting. We haven't had that.
It's the first time from India.
That is great. Global, more global.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what's more global than super longevity, right? I mean, that takes in everybody.
Yeah, and I think we'll say the younger generation, the millennials, because I'm not a millennial, I'm a Gen Xer, but we started to embrace it somewhat. My parents, the boomers, did not. They were just hell bent of partying and living, their wild life. But I find the millennials now are more embracing it. They're the ones that are, actively working out. They have a gym membership. They're watching their macros. They're adding supplements to their to their diet, to their say workout protocol or whatever. So it's on the verge of really taking off, which I did not see when I was in my 20s. You did not really hear, no one was taking melatonin. No one was, no one was doing keto. These things that can actually add years to your life. So it's really, I'm excited about it. I really am.
For sure. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely we've definitely come a long way, and I think a lot is really trending right now, and some of these like exosomes are, some people are doing exosomes and getting really good results, and
Joe's looking at me when he says that because
I don't know. Some people want to talk about it
because I did a exosome treatment. I did a placenta stem cell treatment. Speaking of peptides, I'm on a peptide protocol now, and I'm getting great benefits from them.
That's excellent, James.
Yeah. So, and I think few people realize that there's actually avenues now to really do this safely. And I don't take chances, yet I calculate those risk, and so I found some really great avenues right here in the States now that are available. So I'm taking benefit of them, and I have several other colleagues or associates that are doing the same thing and seeing some really good results.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, you don't have to be a long time longevity, a person who's into longevity to really get a lot out of RADfest. And so, in fact, a lot of people get exposed to this whole movement at RADfest. So people are interested and kind of want to get a sense of what's going on. You don't have to have a deep background in longevity to learn at RADfest and have a good time, and also to meet people who have the similar interests.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, RADfest is a place that really, and more people are recognizing this all the time in their contact with us. That is a place that every organization, we're not competing with anybody. We're a nonprofit that is inclusive of everybody. And it's really a place that everybody can come and really celebrate who we are together. That's one thing that I really feel deeply about and want to encourage people to do is to come there, and no matter what company you're working for or other events that are going on, we're supportive of everybody, and it's a place where we can all then come together and celebrate what we're doing for the year.
James, what are you excited about this year, this year's RADfest, and say some past RADfest events?
Well, obviously, I think right off the bat, I'll just say I'm excited about seeing a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while and meeting new people. But I think as far as the whole experience there, um, I'm really looking forward to some new in-depth exchanges about two things. One, you mentioned about people getting past the fear of death. There's going to be some really great conversations, and that's really, we don't realize that it's really important for our immune systems and our strength personally to be able to get, I'll say, through what we need to get through, like this pandemic, for example, and so many things we face in this world today. We have to have a strong resolve to get through them. And so I'm excited about the conversations, and I think the clarity that's going to be there of how to do that, along with new innovations that I'm seeing that are going to be there that I'm interested in doing and experiencing more. And also the talks on, of course, going along with that are the talks on which I'm interested in, is the blood transfer talks. I'm sorry.
What plasma?
Yeah, blood plasma exchange. Excuse me. And along with that, I'm really interested in the rapamycin. I think Dr. Lofkin has gone really in depth on this, as a few others that he's working with and a team, and we're going to hear some really great. I think. Well, he said he's got some interesting results on this that people will be interested in, and how to really administer it if you're interested. And so we're going to learn a lot about not only get the information but how to apply it. So this is Bill Falloon's big mission too, is not just get the information out there, but make things very applicable for people, educate them how to use it and to apply it to their everyday health and welfare.
And I think what's great about RADfest and getting together is that you would meet people that have done their little anecdotal therapies for themselves at work that you wouldn't learn otherwise, that they say, hey, this really worked for me. If it was, say, semaglutide, for weight loss, for example,
Yeah.
Or they used PPR, or they used, this new alternative to a statin that didn't have any side effects, things like that, which they learn about by talking to people.
That's right.
That's what's so great about Interact.
Yeah, you're so right about that, Brian. That's the power of collective intelligence that I speak about a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's enormous when you're able to share, this information personally with people, like you said, and because some of these innovations there's a bit of fear about, but when you see other people do them and come out so good, I mean, it's pretty simple. That then it kind of dispels the fear you have in your own person of doing them because they're new. If nothing else, people can tell us that, oh, these are benign, you don't have to worry about them. But there's always that question. But then when you see a lot of people do them and they're having great experiences and no negative side effects, so that's just one of the benefits. And amongst just building the attitude we need to have with each other to really forego this path.
It is so important right now, because a lot of this is so new that it is so important to have people around that you can compare notes with and share anecdotally what works, what doesn't. Sometimes it comes down to like dosage. You know,
Exactly.
it could be a
Yeah.
protocol that works. You just don't know the proper way to apply it.
Exactly.
So it is so important because we don't really have built out programs for a lot of these protocols. So it's actually vital to be able to compare notes with other people.
I think that's part of building a community, right? When you
It is.
network, you share each other, just like back like sharing what you love, what you like. That's why sometime in the early days of social media, I feel like that's what it was. It was what people got together, was just to discover more about other people that they meet, that they would never meet. But then having an event like RADfest, I think is important, because I've just by meeting people along the way, you never know how to connect. Just like Brian and I mean, like, he's totally into life extension. We're both like, when we talk, we'll be in a space together and we just geek out. We'll just talk about, right, Brian?
Oh my God, we geek out. People
Yeah.
can't even believe it.
That's great. That's great.
But imagine being in a room full of people like us, Brian.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the power of connection, and like you said, the power of community. And look, we live in the day, this age of the internet and so forth, and it's great. You can learn a lot on the internet. I mean, I'm grateful for it because we had to do virtual events, for 2 years, and with People Unlimited and the RADfest, and it was good. But there's nothing like being in the presence of each other. There's something that happens. I don't know. I tend to call it that the happening that when we really connect and there's that connective energy flowing, it stimulates new synapses in the brain that you don't get through the internet. And people say, "Oh, I can learn everything I want to learn on the internet," and you can, but it doesn't always come to fruition. It doesn't always come to clarity as much as when you're somehow in person. This is my own. I mean, I've done both, and I'm grateful for the internet. But man, when you're in, that's why we wanted to get back as soon as we could with People Unlimited, and we've been doing that for 4 months after being virtual, because the events then and the connection, the human connection, is so much more powerful, and the information is assimilated so much better.
Yeah, well, some of this stuff you can't get on the internet because it hasn't gotten to the internet yet. But you also are not getting the context if you're just sort of going out there and looking up, one of these guys, and you're not getting the context.
Yeah, you can't do this alone. If people think that this is just too complex, this super longevity walk, this walk into the future that we're all doing, it's something that, and this is the great thing about it. It has the ability to bring us all together as human beings because it's a higher purpose than we've ever had the opportunity to go for before, and therefore it brings us together as human beings, and that's the other powerful thing about it. We have to work together, and you can't do this alone. There's just too much to know. There's too much. I mean, just like you two, Brian and Tanya, sharing your information the way you do, I'm sure you stimulate a lot of new thought in each other, and this expands out. And this is what the power of that togetherness is.
Yeah, and I get a lot of enjoyment, James, about paying it forward.
Yes,
A lot
exactly.
of the stuff I've learned, I've passed it on to my followers and my friends. Even like when COVID started to hit, I was telling them about NAC and vitamin D3, and basically a supplement protocol. And they were.
Right.
Did we just lose you, Brian?
Yeah, we lost
Yeah,
him.
we lost him.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
protocol was the last thing you
a
said.
lot of people never even heard of NAC and how it's made a huge difference for them, not only in their immune system but just their just other functions.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. Yeah, we were doing the same thing. you know, when everything started happening, we just started sharing the protocols, and it made such a big difference to so many people. It was amazing. I mean, very few of our people, consequently, and People Unlimited, contacted COVID. In fact, Jyoti, Aubrey's intimate living, she did a presentation at RADfest. I don't know if you saw that, Tanya. She did a presentation about People Unlimited because Aubrey discovered that, hey, in his research with us, that a very small percentage of People Unlimited people were getting COVID, and the reason was, is because we were doing all these protocols.
Because keeping your immune system strong. I think the protocol, that's what his goal is, to your immune system. I think it's the immune system is the key to everything, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's why Dr. Joe Kleber is going to be not only speaking there at RADfest, but he's going to have a booth there that he'll be demonstrating to people. He's going to be doing some of the protocols right at that booth to build the immune system.
I want to make sure that we don't forget about RAD City. Can you tell us a bit about that? That's what I want to know more about.
Yeah, RAD City, we call it the marketplace of the future because that's how we've designed it and brought in people that were profiting. We call it, they profit from life instead of death. They're out to find the best innovations and supplements, etc., that actually advance people's health and well-being, and that's what it's filled with. It'll be about right around approximately 60 or 70 exhibitors there, all with a whole array of innovations from, like I said, immune building protocols that are. I think Dr. Joe Weaver, he was talking to me just yesterday about doing some ozone therapies there, advanced ozone therapies, and other IV immune building innovations that he's got. Also, they'll be testing. We're going to have a really great scan company come in and actually be able to scan bone density, muscle density, etc. And they're the most advanced scanning system that's out there. They got a mobile unit they're going to bring into the building, actually.
It's a great.
Yeah.
So with all these different longevity products and services, you get demos.
Yeah.
You get big discounts. It's just a really nice way to be exposed to the latest and the greatest, but also to get some direction and some guidance in how to use it. And in RAD City, there's also a stage where people can give talks about more in-depth information about their longevity products and services. The exhibitors, yeah.
So RAD City's fun in itself because we're going to have, actually Friday night, we're going to have a party in there, and with serving food and wine, and there'll be some entertainment there, and the speakers and all will be in there too, so people can meet the speakers personally and talk with them, and ask them questions and just interact, and so it's going to be a really fun time. So that's how we try to make it. Well, we do make it that way, where it's very interactive and enjoyable.
But the whole events, the whole festival, I call it, because you guys just don't have lectures. You have dancing and exercising and stretching and
we do, because music and dancing helps people learn, and also is a good way to take a break. So we break with entertainers. We got some really good entertainers this year. In fact, Maria Trakis from Sins was just here at People Unlimited this last weekend speaking, and she's going to do. She's been creating an amazing opening performance. This woman is quite the artist, and in fact, she sang for us here this weekend and just rocked the house. Had us, she sang just a fantastic inspirational song that had us all in tears. literally, and but yeah, so it's very we make it fun. The first year we did this in 2016, it was a little, well, to say the least, it was different for people. They're going, oh, what's this at a science event? And then after a while, by the time it was halfway through, many of the scientists and doctors were out dancing in the aisle during the breaks. It was great.
I think I read a story from Fast Company. It was like walking into a RADfest. It was like walking into a music festival, but the people are not teenagers, 20-year-olds going to a rave, more like 60 on up, celebrating.
Yeah, we've always gotten really good media coverage, and we found out which scientists can dance.
I think Greg Fahey has the
No, all right.
yeah, he might have won the award for that.
He's pretty good.
Brian,
Yeah,
we
he's
had
pretty
him on
good.
our show, Brian.
Have you?
The Thymus Rejuvenation.
Dr. Greg, yeah, Dr. Greg Fahey.
Oh yeah, he's great. I was
I
going to
would love
ask.
to see him dance. I would love to see him dance.
I like
He's great. He goes all out. He's wild. It's awesome.
I like to ask James or Joe. Have you guys thought about like a RAD virtual store where, after you attend your events and there might be say a RAD virtual store where people can, if it's supplements or if it's books, where someone can go and be a one-stop shop source from, presenters from this year or past years that, have therapies or products or whatever the people can look for.
Yeah, we had that the last couple of years when we were virtual, and what we did was basically we had a virtual RAD City, and we kept it up for I think 3 months after. And this time, I don't think we're going to do quite that, but we're going to have some way of offering, I think, those products and services to participants and the public after the event. So I don't know if it'll be quite a virtual store, but there will be a way to access the good stuff.
So it's about 4:00. I'm going to go ahead and open up the mic for everybody. I think Carlos wanted to ask a question.
Let's go for it.
I'm going to bring him up. He's my co-host. We do NFTs for a cause where we feature a NFT project that is raising money or giving back. We actually had Colorblind Adam on. That's how we had Scott Patty on, but with Brian and I. He did an NFT project where he donated his 3 NFTs to 3 different longevity researcher, and one of them was the Thymus Rejuvenation Project. So we had him on the show and stuff. So, and Carlos and I, I offered to give you the mic, Carlos, if you did you want to ask questions? And Bryce, if you want to ask any question, you're welcome to, because Bryce is very big into longevity. He does calorie. I think he probably wanted to ask more about intermittent fasting.
Are you there, Tanya? I couldn't hear you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can
yes,
you hear me?
I can now. I couldn't before, though.
Okay. So Bryce would he likes to talk. We like to talk about intermittent fasting, and would there be any lectures on that?
There's several of these doctors I know do intermediate fasting, of course, and we practice that at times, but I imagine there'll probably be some conversation, but there's no one specifically now talking about it this time. It's been discussed a lot, Brian Delaney has given several talks every year, a talk on it, most years, and others. But this year we don't have anybody specifically talking on it.
Yeah, unless some of the citizen scientists talk about it.
Yeah, like Lance Hitchings.
Yeah,
he practiced that. He'll probably talk about that.
And you're going to be in a room with like 100 people who do it, so you're definitely in the right territory with intermittent fasting and longevity.
Lance Hitchings, who's a citizen scientist, in fact, now you mention this, I'm sure he'll be talking about that, because he's going to go through everything he does. He's been very, very successful at his his longevity protocols he does. He's been very articulate about it. I think he's 73 now, 74, and looks great and is in really top health. And he of course, I don't know if you guys have ever talked to him or met him, but for a long time he struggled with his health, and then one day had a wake up, and just since then he's just really taken off in a new direction, and is a great example of somebody who's really applied the newest longevity protocols, and he does do intermittent fasting, so I'm confident he'll be talking about it.
Bryce, the microphone is yours.
No, it's great. No, I apologize. I've been kind of multitasking here, so I've been fading in and out of the conversation. So if I ask something you've already covered, I apologize. I know I'm glad you brought up fasting. Yeah, that's something I've been really into this last 12 to 18 months. Actually, I just did a what was it, 72, 84-hour fast about 2 weeks ago. So that was really interesting.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, so is fasting part of these? You're talking about protocols. My original question was going to be, what is the most promising either technology or protocols that you guys see going forward, and is fasting part of that?
Oh, fasting is absolutely part of it. Fasting is first of all, it's simple in the context that for the most part doesn't cost any money. Everybody can do it, and it's been showed very, as you know, very powerful results. So big kudos for you for doing the 84-hour one. That's great. And but yeah, there most everybody. Well, I wouldn't venture to say most everybody, but a great deal of people, like Joe said, are at RADfest that you'll meet if you're there. Are into that, and including myself. I fast periodically like that, and so yeah, it's and then along with that, of course, another protocols that I'm really interested in is, like I mentioned, I think the plasma exchange, the way they're advanced it now, is going to be very effective. Along with, of course, all the peptides we've been talking about, stem cells, um, and of course, uh, what I'm really excited about, actually, I mean, along with all that, but I'm really looking forward when it's completed as the gene therapies, particularly Dr. Bill Andrews' gene therapy to lengthen the telomeres, and looks very promising and can actually reverse aging remarkably, and that's really what we're after. I mean, RADfest is about bringing what Ray Kurzweil calls the three bridges. The health, and then then we move on into the longevity era, and then we move into super longevity, whether it's in the cloud or whether it's actually we're physically being able to perpetually live unlimited lifespans. So, but yeah, I'm interested in and that's what RADfest is about, is being able to reverse aging, and this is going to happen. In the meantime, we have to keep ourselves as healthy as possible, and that's what a lot of these other protocols are for, and slow down aging, and actually reach what would be called a immortality plateau, where we're not aging and giving ourselves time to, as exponentially everything's moving so fast, to give ourselves time to be able to utilize the new innovations that are coming up. So I hope that answers your question, but that's a big part of it. What's going on?
Yeah, so if I heard you correctly, so I mean, diet and exercise has just been part of the game since day one for trying to slow things down or give
Correct.
you your best life. But so then I'm hearing it's things like gene therapy, and that's been around for a while. There's no new technologies that are, I mean, they haven't perfected these things, obviously, but is there any cutting edge things that they're talking about, a combination of drugs or what have you, or anything like that?
Well, I know that like I said, that Bill Andrews does have this gene therapy that can lengthen the telomeres. Consequently, I mean, this is really um, I'll say stunning. But his this gene therapy has the ability to, if it worked 100%, to actually reverse the aging of an individual to biologically 25. So you can be chronologically 90, but biologically 25. So I think that's pretty. And that formula that's already been created and ready for human trials. Is that so? So even though that gene therapy concept has been around, he's got a formula that can actually, it's been tested in the lab. He's real confident that it's going to work, but we don't know to what extent. And so, if you ask me, what I'm most excited about is, what I'm always looked for is to actually not only stop aging but reverse aging, because that's what we need to be able to do. We need to not only stop it in its tracks, but we need to bring back, our true state of being, what I call our true state of being, of youthfulness, and the full capacity of the ability of our bodies to function.
I want you guys to figure it out. I'm turning 49 here pretty quick. So if you guys could figure it out in the next 10 or 20 years, to please, then I'm good. Because I try to take care of myself now, so I'm in pretty good shape for my age. But it's like I need those answers. So you guys got to get to it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on that 100%. And we're working every day on that, and that's why we need people to come to RADfest and help build up the momentum, because numbers matter. The more people we get at RADfest, the more attention we get worldwide, and then that money gets to get funneled in the directions we need to get funneled into. It's about supply and demand, or demand and supply, and but yeah, I'm really pushing for that myself, and I know all of our team are, and I'm glad you feel that way. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have Mago. Did you want to ask some questions?
Hi, yeah. Hi, everyone. Great space. Super inspiring. Yeah, I was hoping I could ask a couple questions. I think I heard touching a little bit on the mentality of immortality. And I think that's really interesting because that's something when I talk to people, it's not so much proving the technology will be there to allow it, but it's more people saying, "Oh, I don't want to live forever." So I'm super curious, like if what you're, a resource for that, or like a way to maybe respond to that would be interesting. And then secondly, curious on the where transhumanism or android sort of technology, what the take is on that too, if there's any relationship with this.
Okay. Well, regarding your first question, I'll comment that when people say they don't want to live forever, if that's what I understood you say, right? Um, most of the time that response is because they see themselves living in some decrepit state. And they don't want to. They don't want to keep going on, and also they don't want to keep going in a world that they feel is filled with struggle all the time. It's a combination of those things. But what we're talking about is living unlimited lifespans with vitality and strength, and that's what they don't get. So when people say that to me, I say, well, what about if you could be as healthy, the most healthy person possible, and 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 live with vitality and strength? Then they usually turn around and say, oh, that's different. But because they're mostly coming from what I call a mortal consciousness, and that's all they've seen is deterioration of human beings the longer they're here, that's usually their response. Being here a long time, equates to, being decrepit and losing your strength. So when I answer them, though, that they could live, what if you could live with vitality? They usually say, oh, okay, that's different. So yeah, I hope that answers your question to that.
That's amazing. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a really great way of, thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. And then the other question, let Joe handle that one.
Well, as far as transhumanism or just integrating non-organic material into our bodies and into our longevity, I mean, hell yeah, that's a huge part of it for sure. I mean, of course, we know we're already doing that with eyeglasses and hearing devices and I guess fixing our teeth and things like that. And there's more to come. I mean, it's already happening. I mean, heart valves and 3D printing is in play. We have I'm curious. I'm really interested to hear what this guy's going to talk about. Who's talking about um, uh, what is it? Gina Bear talking about tissue?
Yeah, tissue replacement.
Tissue replacement.
So,
I think he's talking, and this is research that's funded by SENS, and I think he's talking about developing um, uh, tissue and perhaps organs that then can be used in people.
Yeah.
So talk about sci-fi. I mean, that's really and this is a guy now who's at Albert Einstein College of Medicine, and this is the work he's doing. So here we are. The future, the future's here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really great that's really interesting to hear because with AI, right, with Stability AI, they released their open source model a couple days ago, and then obviously OpenAI and all the genetics that's going along with quantum computing. It almost seems like everything is kind of like coming to this merger of the technology being able to come together in consciousness and whatever. So yeah, I was curious where transhumanism played in that for you.
Yeah, and that's actually the subject of Ray Kurzweil's talk. The title of it is Rewriting Biology with Artificial Intelligence. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from him on that.
I
Very
think
cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
James, you make a great point in how people look at life and longevity. In their current state, they might be crippled by anxiety or depression, and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Where
Exactly.
other modalities are now in place, where say antidepressants, weren't working for them, new modalities that can help them that can change their thinking, get rid of that fog, so they can want to live the current life they have now with vitality. And
Exactly.
that's important.
Yeah. And again, that's why we wanted to produce an event like RADfest, because it brings people together for that common purpose. And we've seen people, every RADfest, I got people that come up to me and go, "Oh wow, thank you for this," because I didn't see the possibilities of just as I grow older, just living in some decrepit state. That's all I could see. And now that I hear all this, and I'm seeing other people, that are my age and changing their bodies and becoming stronger, it's given me the inspiration, and I know how I can do it. So this is the environment we wanted to create. We want to spread this environment across the planet, of course.
And it's just a change of thinking as well. For example, my father's generation wouldn't think of doing testosterone therapy to increase vitality and cognition and muscle strength. And now my generation is embracing it. We understand that we are fighting Mother Nature, and our testosterone levels decline after 40. And it is a tool. It's just a tool that can help us stay active and strong. So if we incorporate that and other things as they come the way along the way, that's the power of intelligence and creative minds coming together.
Absolutely.
To help.
Well said. Well said.
I will say this to Bryce. Bryce, follow up and do a lot of research on the power of peptides, especially stuff like, for pain, like BPC 157 or growth hormone secretagogues, where have been proven to be just as powerful as growth hormone to keep your vitality and a quarter of the cost. Affordable therapies that you're not doing an outside source, say, from growth hormone, but you are your own body's producing its growth hormone through these more high-powered growth hormone secretagogues. So this is just one thing.
These peptides are very, very safe too. Especially, it's important the source you get them from.
That's correct.
I would say don't just get on the internet and
Right.
order anything.
Yeah, you
check
can
with doctors. There's doctors now that know the best sources. You can check with your doctor. If you don't have a doctor that knows, you can contact Life Extension Foundation or some or you Brian. But there's sources that are really pure and reliable. I'm doing the 157 myself. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I talked about it on social media years ago when people were like, "Oh my God, this guy's experimenting with these crazy peptides," and now they're used by sports medicine, by professional sports teams, and a lot of compounding pharmacies make these for doctors.
That's right.
If it's BPC 157 or growth hormone secretagogues, or for other peptides as well.
Yeah.
Let me ask you now. I don't know a ton about peptides without researching it. Are they similar to amino acids? Are they precursor to amino acids, or something like that? What's the chemistry behind it?
That's a good question. So basically, peptides are a sequence of amino acids, as small as maybe 2, or peptides can go up to 15 or 20. But they're just like they're basically a sequence of amino acids found in your body. For example, BPC 157 is found in the gastric juices of your intestinal tract. And it's really the peptide that bonds and has the increases the tight integrity of your gut. So BPC 157 was first used to heal the gut. It's been used in Europe for years for IBS, Crohn's disease, but now people that have tendinitis, they're going through injury, knee reconstruction, pain management. It's amazing for healing.
We're gonna have to do a space about that. I'll get a couple of doctors and we can bring Bryce in so he can ask questions. But it's about 4:18. I want to be mindful of the time, and I also Carlos. I'm so sorry, your name is not Skip. I skipped you on accident.
Don't worry. Should I go now? Or,
yeah. Did you have a question?
Yes. Actually, I have two, but I will make them separately, and then I'll ask just like a comment. The first question I have is related to this curiosity. For example, that people from in Okinawa in Japan are very famous because the oldest generations used to have the longest longevity known on Earth. And nowadays, the younger generations are not following the same style of lifestyle, and so the amount of longevity is actually decreasing. But and I have a video. I'm trying to up to the nest. My family is from Canary Island, and in my own family, the longevity is amazing. Here, I will try to get to see you. I try to get you to see. Sorry. A video of 12 siblings, brothers and sisters, which go from 113 years old till 98. They are 12 brothers and sisters, and they are still alive. They are actually the holders of the record Guinness. And there is a nice video of them entering into a special event there in Canary Islands, making some homage to them. But the question is, why do you think is that in the show business stuff and the artistical stuff, where, for example, we have singers like Tony Bennett, we have comedians like George Burns, who died at 100-year-old, and actors who also tend to die too very, very late, and writers too. I think comedians, actors, writers, and singers, they are in that list. Here we have cases, for example, an Uruguayan comedian, Juan Verdaguer. He died on a stage, telling jokes when he was 97 years old, and he's very famous for that. So, do you think there is a relationship in this kind of art? It's like humor, even painters, because Picasso, for example, died, and painters tend to die at a very old age. That would be the first question.
Okay, so if I understood your question, Carlos, it was that do we think that say a comedian, for example, because they are laughing a lot and telling jokes, that helps induce longevity? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What will be the link between a comedian, a singer like Tony Bennett, writers, actors who keep going so long?
Yeah. Well. Obviously, it's been said that laughter is great medicine. Yes, it definitely plays a part. All that. The joy of life is actually the elixir of it keeps us going. It's very, very important. Too many people discount that, and so they struggle in survival. I'm always saying, hey, we need to get out of our survival mode and get into the era of creativity. And these people are creative, and so they have purpose in their life. So it gives them a greater will to live. And I think laughter helps build your immune system on that level. Now, is that enough? Oh,
not
by the
too.
way, by the way,
Yeah.
I don't want to forget this. I happened to be in Los Angeles in 1993 as a correspondent from the TV station. I was working here in Venezuela, and George Burns did announce. I went to the Century City, I guess it was called in Los Angeles, as to an event where he was announcing that he has just signed a contract with the Caesar Palace in Las Vegas to hold. He was I don't remember how old he was. I think he was like 94 at the moment. For celebrating his 100th year in that Caesar Palace Hotel, and the main show business reporter from the LA Times asked him, "Hey, you're still 6 years away from that event. Do you think it will be possible?" And the answer of George Burns was, "Well, if that Lucy Hotel is still working by that date, I don't see why we cannot do it." Isn't that great?
That's true. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all those things, purpose matters and creativity. That's why I always say,
Mhm.
hey, have a purpose in your life. It gives you greater strength and resolve to achieve what you want to achieve, and the joy of that. But at the same time, Carlos, it's not enough. I mean, it's a key factor, but as you may gather, we're after super longevity.
Yeah, I
Unlimited
know,
lifespans.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
and so it's
that leads me to my short term.
yeah. Go ahead.
We're talking about super longevity, precisely in this era, in this moment when we are coming from the 2 or 3 years of everybody, a lot of people, and somewhere in the world talking every day about the Great Reset, which has, involves a lot of disappearance of a lot of older people because they are a charge, they cost money, they are not productive, and all that happened. So what do you see? I mean, how do you cope with that? I mean, because I think it's just like a super longevity is a wonderful idea, but it was better 10 years ago before what we are living now, if you get my clue.
Okay, so if I gather what you're saying, that you know that there's a concept of what you call the reset to get rid of get rid of old people. Well, that's a in simple terms, that's pretty macabre to say the least. I mean, to me, personally, it's a ridiculous approach. I mean, this is what's always gone on, though, the devaluation of people who are older that we do in this society and many societies. Not every society does that,
Yeah, I know, I
but
know.
the whole thing is super longevity is about living with vitality and strength, no matter how old you are, and that's what we're getting at. Okay, the other you're talking about is totally from a mortal consciousness and how people think, but from an immortal consciousness and immortal thinking. Okay, the value of human life is never limited to how old you are, and there's no discrimination. Okay, so
Hmm.
we're creating a new world, a whole new way of thinking, and a respect for human life like we've never had before.
Okay.
And so then we're talking about innovations that are coming, and the key is to stay alive long enough to where you can utilize and benefit from these new innovations that are going to happen, and really this gene therapy I was talking about that can reverse aging could happen even in the next 1 to 3 years. I was talking to the doctor, the scientist who's working on this now, Dr. Bill Andrews, and he projects that could be the timetable if he gets the funding that he looks like he'll get soon. Okay, so that's just one of them. But
No.
but it's a whole new world of vitality and strength. Okay, and where everybody is valued. And this other, in simple terms, is just limited thinking from a mortal consciousness.
Yes, I know of that because I had twice retina detachment, and I thank God was a pretty very good surgery, and my eyes are okay now. And I got to know from these very informed doctors that there are incredible advances in China, in Japan, regarding artificial retinas for making people see, even people who are blind, birth
Yeah,
blind. Yeah, all kinds of new great innovations are coming down the line. So
Yeah,
stay alive long enough to benefit from them.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
And
Hey, by the way, Carlos, I here in Scottsdale, I have a bunch of Venezuelan friends. I heard you say you're from Venezuela. A bunch of people. They came over. They moved here from Venezuela to here to Scottsdale to be involved with us here. There's about 15 of them
oh,
that came over
oh
because
wow, great.
they were yeah yeah they were super longevity enthusiasts, and they wanted to be involved here, in the center here. So they moved here, and they're just great. They've been a great addition to what we're doing here.
Oh, great. I
You
am.
should.
I was born
I
in Caracas, Venezuela. I'm 61 now. 66,
oh,
61.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the recommendation, my third part is just like I would recommend you to review for this. I don't know. This is not specifically super longevity, but just as a comment, Doctor. I don't know if you know a book called Total Fitness by Dr. Lawrence E. Morehouse with Leonard Gross. He published that book in the 70s, and he was in charge of the maintenance exercises for the astronauts in the NASA. And he developed the Skylab maintenance program, and he developed a
go ahead.
routine, a maintenance routine, which is only half an hour a week, 10 minutes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you know what? That routine hasn't been changed by NASA because hasn't been surpassed by any new investigators. I mean, he hit the nail in the year 1974 with his discovery and the kind of exercise, and it's a wonderful. Maybe you have to look in eBay because it's not easily fast to find. The name is Total Fitness by Dr. Morehouse. I leave you the
Morehouse. Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
great. Yeah,
Lawrence
thank you.
Morehouse. So he's totally updated. I mean, he hasn't been surpassed. I mean, NASA is still working with Dr. Morehouse approach. We was developed more than 45 years ago. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
remind that curiosity. Thank you for your time.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. So it's about 4:30. I want to go ahead and wrap the space up because I promised everyone that we'd be done by then. But I want to also okay, let's talk a little bit about the I think we worked out a deal, right? The special offer. Can you tell us about that and what does that entail
Yeah,
for
this
the
is a
RAADfest?
special. Yeah, thank you, Tanya. This is with RADfest offer. Okay, right now that it's a bring a friend offer. Okay, so for the regular price of $650, you can bring it. You can bring a friend and get $200 off. Their registration. Okay, so you can do that. You can either split that cost between each other, obviously, or you can just give that offer to a friend. And I think that's on our website, www.radfest.com. People can go on there and register and see that offer on there. And yeah, it's a bring a friend offer, and it's $200 off the registration for them.
So it's 4:30. So can we go ahead? Let's go ahead and wrap up their space. Jim, can you give us any final thoughts about
Yeah,
RAADfest?
yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I've really enjoyed this time, and Bernie and Joe both had to. They both had to run to an appointment, so but they share the same feeling I have here that this was a fantastic time. And again, thank you both, Brian and Tanya, for this time, and everybody who's listening. I want to encourage you to really stay alive and stay healthy, because all these new innovations are just right around the corner. I mean, this is literally, we've already got a lot of them in the pipeline now that you can use to better yourself, like we've talked about, stem cells, peptides that are very applicable for many different conditions you may have going on in your body. I've seen remarkable results on them. But the key thing is that we got to move together to create this new world. It's more than just staying alive. It's staying alive with vitality and strength, and with peace in our hearts, a peace for each other, understanding of the value of human life. That we're not destroying each other anymore. This is what we don't want to be living a long time and be in these wars all the time, right? So that's that's really, I think when we embrace immortality and super longevity, we begin to understand the real value of ourselves and one another. So that's my passion for all of you. Again, I appreciate this time, and I bless you, and I hope we see you at RADfest.
Thank you. And Brian, do you have any final thoughts before we shut up
Yeah,
the space?
I really appreciate James' time. It's very exciting, and I just want to say I just hope RADfest, grows each and every year stronger and stronger. Very excited about this.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
And they accept crypto for donation also. So it is going through Given Block. And I really feel like RADfest should have their own NFT project, right, Brian? Because I would say that would be incredible. A lot of artists would love to be involved.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know more about that. I mean, anything you guys, any ideas you have to, because this is a collective movement. We're open for them for sure. We have no attachment to, way we're doing things. If something better, we want to do it. So thank you for that.
And I will say, James, the anti-aging movement has attracted a lot of very successful entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who have secretly incorporated these therapies to maximize their time on the planet and to get the most out of life, but just the average day man as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate you. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tanya.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.